Good morning, everyone, and welcome into your Business and Technology class. This is Matlub Ilahi, your course leader, Business and Technology. I will be leading this course, and first of all, I would like to introduce a little bit myself. But before that, my introduction, I would like to congratulate all of you for choosing this wonderful qualification, for choosing this amazing and rapidly transforming qualification, which is at par with the latest developments in the industry and business. And second, congratulations for choosing our course at Hamzah Academy, because here we are to create the differences, okay? And this will definitely you feel. Good morning, thank you. Good morning. I have been teaching for last 14 years, and I have helped thousands of students to pass and qualify their professional accountancy exams. So same, I'm looking forward to your discourse as well. I have been teaching in Mauritius for 7 years, between 2013 and 2019, and then I moved abroad. And I hope you might have heard about me from your colleagues or from your seniors. Okay, I am very passionate, and this subject, the business and technology, is very close to my heart. Okay, there are a few reasons why I have selected this. Although I teach the advanced level, the strategic professional level papers, SBL and advanced performance management. But this paper is special for me, and there are reasons. There are reasons. Let me share those reasons with you. Why I love to teach this paper? Because you are just the new entrants, or you have just started. Okay, you don't have much knowledge, you don't have much understanding about this. At SBL and at advanced performance management papers, normally I feel always a knowledge gap within students when they come to join my classes in the beginning. I find a knowledge gap. So one reason choosing this paper to teach is to fill that knowledge gap, to equip you with all that sort of knowledge. Second reason, I want to prepare you from at the first stage or at the very early stage for the next papers. I want to equip you. I want to deliver all that knowledge I have for you, okay, to prepare you better for the next exam. So when you go through the next exams levels, you always feel pride of studying with me. You always feel pride that yes, you know about this, you know about this. I want to make you different than the rest. Okay, this is one of the reason. And the other reason, to equip you, to give you more knowledge at the very early stage. So when you go in the strategic level exams, you don't feel that knowledge gap. Okay, these are the few reasons I thought to share it with you, why this paper is so special for me. Why this paper is so special for me. Not only I will deliver you the syllabus knowledge in the most effective and efficient way, but I will also equip you with the latest developments in the world of business and economy. You feel free always to ask me questions, because I am You might have heard I'm very easygoing person. Okay. I always appreciate questions. I always respect questions. Okay. I always wait for from my students to ask me questions. So where, when you find anything difficult, anything challenging, something question in your mind, you will have my contact. You can contact me. All right. Okay. So this is a little bit I thought to discuss with you. Okay. Next things. Let's move on. So this is, I already have shared with you about myself. Now, this is your turn. You introduce yourself. So in your introduction, you have to answer just two questions. Number one, the motivation behind choosing ACCA. Motivation behind choosing ACCA, and how many papers you have selected for study. Or even you can just answer one question, the motivation behind choosing ACCA. Okay, so let's start with Yamna. Hello, Yamna, please share your thoughts about the motivation behind choosing ACCA. You can unmute your mic. You can speak if you feel comfortable, or you can just write.
Hello everyone, I am Yumna Utim. I am from Mauritius and I am currently a business management student. I just completed my year one, and that is why I chose ACCA. I know it will be a great addition to my degree, and it will hopefully help me in the job market. And I'm passionate about accounting and figures. Yes.
All right, thanks a lot.
You.
Thank you. Okay, next, Amisha. Hello, Amisha, can you hear? What is the motivation behind choosing ACCA? I think Amisha is typing, I guess. Okay, all right. No problem, Amisha. You can just write down the motivation behind choosing ACCA. What motivated you, or the factors which drive you towards ACCA? Okay, meanwhile, we can ask Yusra. Hello, Yusra. Would you like to share, please, the motivation behind selecting ACCA?
Hello everyone, hello teacher. Actually, that's
Your volume, I think volume is too low, Yusra. Can you please up the volume?
okay.
We can't listen you.
Now is it okay? Hello.
Still we can't listen.
Okay. Okay.
You can write down, you can just write down. Okay, next it's Nikita. Hello, Dabi. Nikita, please, would you like to share your motivation for enrolling for ACCA?
Hello, actually, I'm Debbie Nikita. I'm from Mauritius, and so I'm currently working in an outsourcing company. I'm very passionate about accounting, and I chose this course to be able to bargain in the job market and get a better position. Thank you.
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you, Nikita. Okay, so Anisha has just shared I chose ACCA because of all competencies and skills needed to work in organization. Only throughout ACCA I can achieve it. Thanks. Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. Accounting always been my favorite. Very good. Then definitely you will be enjoying throughout all the subjects you will be studying in the ACCA in the future. Thanks a lot. Okay, and who is left? Yes, Miraj is left. Miraj, would you like to share your motivation for choosing ACCA, please?
Yes. Hello everyone. A very good morning to you.
Good
My
morning.
name is Akil Biku and I am from Mauritius. I chose ACCA because of my passion for mathematics, accounting and business. I would like to improve my skills and knowledge in order to find a better job in the future.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you, thank you. And I think Sumaya is left. Hello, Sumaya.
It's actually not Smaya, it's Rushdie Razak. I forgot to change the name.
Okay.
I'm Rushdie Razak, I'm from Mauritius. And actually, I choose to be part of the ACCA journey because it's among the requirements of my job. So I'm looking forward to work with you all and hope that we have the best journey ever.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts on uh, choosing ACCA. All right. Few things I must share with you because this is the first class. And you know, normally when I was in Mauritius and teaching this paper, it was named as F1 paper previously. In F1 classes at QPIB or at Port Louis, there were a lot of students in my classes, you might have heard, minimum 90, 80, 100, sometimes 110 or 20 students as well in QPIB. So I used to ask this question and then used to listen similar responses. It is very important for you to understand a few things. After completing this ACCA, you don't think yourself you will be just accountant. First point. Okay, don't think you will be just accountant because the accounting industry is going through the massive transformation. You will be working as a advisor, as a consultant, as a supportive to organization growth. So please, please don't think just simple accounting. You can use word analyst, consultant, like kind of things. Number two, in this journey towards completing ACCA, you will be studying a lot of courses. You will be studying the performance management, you will be studying taxation, you will be studying audit, you will be studying the financial management. And in the next last level, you will have choice to become specialized in any of these fields. Keep in mind, you will be learning about marketing, you will be learning about supply chain, you will be learning about finance, you will be learning about human resource, and a lot of other areas. As industries are going through the transformation in this digital era, you also need to equip yourself with multiple skills. For example, ACCA itself encourages its students to not just simply focus on accounting or accounts, but you can go for marketing, you can go for IT, you can go for product development, you can go for research and development, you can join production department, you can join the payroll department, There are so many avenues are opening. So please, this from the very first day, I want to make your mind very clear. Don't think yourself just accountant. Okay, broaden your thinking. The same I used to discuss in my classes back in Mauritius. Okay, don't think yourself just simple accountant. Broaden your thinking. Okay, because you will have lot of opportunities coming on your way. Okay, Yusra has just shared her response. Hello everyone, I have just finished my HSC exams and waiting for the results. I choose ACCA because accounting has been very favorite in college, and the job I'm looking forward in the future requires a finance ACCA qualification. Exactly, Yusra, you are very good, right? You are very right that if you are interested in accounting or accounting related jobs, then ACCA is the perfect choice to pursue your career, to advance your career, no doubt. But I hope all of you have already understood what I have told you. Move on. These all things, these all discussions will continue. These all discussions will continue in our every session, because not only you will be learning about the syllabus, but you will also be learning about the world of business and where you need to move on. This is part of my classes. Okay, let's talk about the future organization and what is the modern organization look like. During this pandemic, you might have already seen how the work life has changed, how the nature of work has changed. Okay, there is a more shift from office-based work to the home-based working, remote working, or you might have heard about the virtual workspaces. Guys, keep in mind, these trends are not going to reverse anymore. In the future, we will see more and more work from home, remote working, virtual organization kind of concept we will be experiencing in the future. So this is where you also need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself. Okay, this is the perfect time for you to plan your career, to plan your future. Mean where you want to be after 4 years, where you want to be after 10 years. For example, you want to be CFO of a company, CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So you can set a target for yourself that after 10 years, mean after 2.5 years or 2 years, you will complete ACCA, and or maximum 3 years. Okay, for example, maximum 3 years. This is the maximum. Okay, otherwise, a lot of people qualify within 2 years as well. So you will complete it, and then you will go for a job of this company. You will work here for this period. You will learn these skills. Then you will move on. Mean you set a target that after 10, 15 years, you will be the CFO of a multinational company or any company, or you will have your own business. You will have, this is also option, my dear. Please keep in mind the job mindset is good, but not good in the long run. Okay, so you can also start thinking to have your own business in the future. First, learn this qualification, go for experience. After having experience of 3 to 4 years in the field which you love to work, you will not exhaust then. You will not feel tired when you are working in an industry or an organization which you love. And after 3, 4 years, when you find sufficient experience you already have gained, you can start your own business. This would be the ultimate goal of your life. All right. Okay. Organizations are going through the massive changes. There are a lot of factors which are shaping the modern organization. For example, the number one factor is technology. Sorry, number one factor is the technology. Technology is transforming organizations, shaping the organizations. For example, think of, I just one example I can give you. Think of entertainment industry. Think of entertainment industry. Few years back, the entertainment industry. Okay, I'm talking about 10 years back, for example. If you have to watch a movie, what was the practice? What steps normally you would be taking 10 years back? You would be going to a CD shop or DVD shop, buying a CD or DVD, and then having your CD player and then watching the movie. Or 10 years back, if you were looking for some music, although 10 years back, the online music was already there, where you could have download the songs or the YouTube was there. If you go further 10 years back, in the beginning of 2000, the situation was very different. You might have not seen that time, the 2000, when there were tape recorders. Do you have the tape recorder at your home still? Hello? Do you have a tape recorder at home or a VCR or a DVD player? Do you have still at home? If yes, then please don't throw away. You can keep it as an evidence for your future generation that yes, we have, but you are, I think you are, you have born, I guess, after 2000 or I don't know. But in 2000 era, there were the video and the music industry were different. And let's look at today. Where is the video industry, film industry, and the music industry? Today we have music in apps. These are called platforms. Okay, these are called platforms. Okay, I was just listening. I right now in my Spotify app, I have downloaded, I think 800 or 900 songs minimum. Okay, there are more than 1,000 songs in my like list on Spotify. This is the new era of digital organization. If you have to watch a movie, you don't need to buy any DVD. You just need to pay subscription fee to Amazon Prime or the Netflix or the Disney and use or Apple and start watching movies as many as you want. This is new normal. This is a new modern organization. This was not the case 10, 20 years back. If you look at the biggest companies in the world list, you would be amazed that out of the 10 largest companies, there are most of the companies are technology related. There is Microsoft, there is Amazon, there is a Google, there is Apple, there is a Facebook, there is Alibaba. All these companies are the technology companies. So this is enough to prove that technology disruption is going on. Technology change is going on. So only those companies will survive, only those companies will succeed, which are at the forefront of the technology change. Those companies which are accepting the technology change, which are adapting their processes, their systems, their operations according to the technology. So those companies will survive. This we have already seen during this pandemic, in which still we are going through. There are hundred thousands of businesses have closed, and there are businesses which have thrived, which have grown bigger during these pandemic time. Why? Those companies which were already prepared, which were already have digital presence, which were already have the processes, which adapted themselves quickly. They managed to survive. But those companies who were slow moving, who have difficulty in change, those companies have failed. This is a classic example. I have more examples to share with you. Have you heard about Nokia? Have you heard about Nokia phone? Nokia, have you heard?
Yes.
Is there anyone who has not heard about Nokia?
The best ever mobile phone
Huh?
manufacturer.
Sorry?
The best ever mobile phone manufacturer.
it was.
It was, yeah.
It was. In 2009, there was a story on the Fortune magazine, Fortune. Who will beat Nokia? This is the story of 2009. Who will beat Nokia? Nokia was just like Apple or Samsung today. Nokia was in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nokia was like that. Where is Nokia today? This is the question we need to ask. Where is Nokia today? Nokia almost disappeared. Okay, although it is trying its best to come back to the market to make place, but very, very, very little chance. Look at who are the biggest players in the mobile market. Huawei, Xiaomi. Xiaomi, think of a Xiaomi, for example. Xiaomi is just a few years back, this company entered into market when the mobile market was already saturated. But imagine this company has made a lot of space in the market. This company has made its own market segment and got its market share. The purpose of all this discussion is Nokia failed because Nokia failed to change. Nokia failed to change. Nokia failed to quickly recognize the change. Okay, Nokia thought that they were good at. Nokia thought they were yesterday successful, they will be successful tomorrow. Keep in mind, my dear, this is the first class. I am spending time to guide you. Don't believe if you were successful yesterday, you would be successful tomorrow as well. This is not the same world it was 20 years back. This is different world where you always need to constantly change your products, your processes, your operations, your skills, your strengths, your competencies, your resources constantly change if you want to stay relevant. Okay, all right, move on. Okay, so let me take more few minutes and discuss what are the challenges of modern organization. Challenges of modern organization. I would like to shift on the iPad because I need to take some notes. Challenges of modern organization. Here are a few challenges I want to share with you. Few challenges. Number one, modern organization or 21st century organization, they are first of all struggling with technology. Number two, they are struggling with competition. The nature of competition has changed. Competition has changed. Number three, they are having difficulties with customers because the customers of today, think of yourself, you might be a millennial, for example, or Gen Z, for example. Do you know the difference between Gen Z and millennials? Hello? Do you know who are the Gen Z? Those who born around 2000, okay, they are called Gen Z. Those who born in 1998, 99 and afterwards, they are called Gen Z. Those who born after 1980s, like myself, okay, I am millennial. And you guys might be, if your age is between 20, 21, 22, you are Gen Z, Generation Z. So the customers of Generation Z and millennials, they are very different than their previous generations. So this is another challenge for the modern organizations, how to satisfy the modern customers. Number 4 factor is the climate change. We all know the climate is changing. And we all know that those companies who are responding their production, their operations to the climate, they are becoming more sustainable. They will have the future. Unlike those companies which are still in sleeping mode, there is no future for those companies. Number 5 is the regulation. Regulation is changing. Regulatory authorities are constantly updating new laws, new regulations, new requirements are coming. So this is making the organization more difficult if they are not ready to change. If they are not ready to change. Number 6, risk landscape. My dear, the type of risk organization facing are very different than it was 10 or 20 years back. For example, I would like to share with you. For example, you might have heard about cyber risk or cyber security. This is one of the biggest issue for modern organization. And why? Because of the big data. You might have heard about big data, because modern organizations are more and more accumulating the data. So this is becoming a threat for the companies, okay? How to secure that data, how to protect that data, because the cyber attacks are increasing as well. And one more I would like to share with you. One more is the supply chain risk. This pandemic, we already have seen how difficult it was for a lot of companies to meet their supplies, because the borders were closed, the ships were closed, shipping lines were closed, and even the China was closed at all. When China closed at all, we know that China is considered as the factory of the world. You might have heard factory of the world. So when China closed, okay, all rest of the world supplies also halted. So imagine the prices started going up. There were no supplies of lot of materials and the products. So now, as a result of that, in a lot of companies in many countries, they have started to rethinking their supply chains, rethinking their supply chains. Okay, they want to have their supply chains close to their factories, their operations. So this is not the complete list, but I just want to give you some highlights of that modern organizations are facing more challenges than the previous one. Here is your role. Here is your role. Now, tell me, you were thinking that you just want to become an accountant. You were thinking you just want to become accountant. Do you think a simple accountant can? Now, a simple accountant may not be able to help the organization to get out of these challenges, to meet these challenges. Do you think you have understood the point or not? Okay, a simple accountant may not be able. Okay, so a simple accountant, if you think a simple accountant would have the enough scope for all to help organization getting out of all these challenges, would be unthinkable. Okay, so your organization where you would be working would expect you something bigger. For example, your organization may expect you to help it to how to meet or how to manage technology risk, how to help to win against competitors, how to help to satisfy customers, how to help to meet the climate change challenges, how to help mean you will help to meet regulatory requirements. You will help to meet the risk, means manage the risk. Okay, you will help the organization to how to protect itself from the cyber threats. Okay, and you will help your organization to manage supply chain risks and supply chain management. So imagine the scope of the work of an accountant has broadened and bigger than ever. Tell me, have you understood all this? Have you understood the bigger role of accountant? Have you understood? My dear, have you understood the bigger role of accountant? So don't, from today onwards, don't think just yourself, you are going to become an accountant. You think yourself, you will be working as a consultant and advisor, a doctor, a specialist, not just accountant. I hope this little explanation will help you broaden your idea now, and you would be feeling happy that you have selected right profession. Okay, thank you. Move on. Okay, so this is enough discussion about our beautiful accounting profession. Move on, know your paper, business and technology. First of all, I would like to discuss with you business and technology, or BT in numbers, mean what you will get out of this course. This course, what you are going to have. 17 weeks plus 2 study sessions, including this week. The total weeks are 17. Plus, you will have options for 2 extra study sessions or practice sessions. 45 hours plus study time, okay? 2.5 hours this class, plus I will offer you extra classes as well. So 45 plus, it will be around 50. 400 plus exam focused practice questions we will be doing, 400 plus, and I believe that would be more than enough to prepare you for BT exam. 400 plus, 100% syllabus coverage, 100% syllabus from A to Z. We will cover the entire syllabus. There will be 2 mid-session mocks. One will be after 50% of the syllabus, other would be after 80% or 90% of the syllabus, 2 mid-session mocks. And this course will complete on 30th October, okay? 30th October, Saturday. So this is our course in numbers I thought to discuss with you. All right, here we go on. Here we go on syllabus of business and technology, something of everything, something of almost everything. What is this? This means this paper covers something of all the papers you will be covering in the future. So that's why the knowledge at this paper. But by the way, keep in mind, at this level, you will be only learning the knowledge, but not in depth. Just simple, basic knowledge is needed. A lot of students or F1 or BT, they get confused with a lot of syllabus, but don't worry, you should not confuse because you don't need to learn in depth. You just need to learn the basics of everything, which is part of syllabus. We will discuss this point later again. Okay, BT, an overview. Business and technology is a gateway paper, gateway starting entry paper, which covers many topics, but on a relatively shallow level. Shallow means very basic level, introductory level. It is important not to drill down too deeply. Yeah, you are not recommended to mean, okay, if you want to get more deeper knowledge, that's very good thing, but you are not required to get deeper knowledge, but you can get it for your own satisfaction. It is important to not to drill too deeply in any given topic so you can spread your time on individual topics evenly. Okay, my dear. Your syllabus, BT syllabus, is divided into 6 sections. Section, first of all, A. Section A. Section A is about the purpose and type of organizations, who are the stakeholders, and how does the business interact with external environment. This is section A. Later we will discuss the content of it in detail later. Section next, B. Section B. Understand the business organizational structure, functions, and role of corporate governance. Section C. Recognize the functions of accounting and reporting systems and technology, understand compliance, control, and security. Section D. Understand personal effectiveness and communication within teams and across the organization. Next. Section E. Leading and managing individuals. This is section D. This is section E. Leading and managing individuals and teams. Here you will be learning about the several theories of leadership and management. And then section F. What are the expected values and professional ethics in accounting and business? Now, important thing to learn here is a lot of theories that you will learn here. You will develop the knowledge of those theories. You will be making use of these theories in the strategic professional exams such as SBL, the strategic business leader paper, which is of 4 hours at the last stage. Okay, a lot of theories that you will learn here from the management and leadership, you will be having opportunity to apply those theories over there. But here, you just need to know about these theories. Okay, move on. Here we are, section A. Section A of the syllabus. So what you will get out of this section? What you will get out of this section? Need to fuel myself. Section A. What areas we will cover? The purpose and type of business organization. Here you will be learning about the different types of organizations, such as public sector organization, private sector organization. Next, stakeholders and business organization. Number 2, stakeholders and business organization. You will learn here the different types of stakeholder. A stakeholder is any person or a group of person or individuals who would be affected as a result of business organization actions. So we need to learn the different type of stakeholders and how they would be impacted and how to judge or understand their power and interest with the organization. Next, political and legal factors affecting the business. Political and legal. Next, macroeconomic, microeconomic, social and demographic factors, technological factors, environmental factors, and competitive factors. How all these factors would impact an organization. Would impact an organization. So you will be learning all these in detail. Next, section B. Section B. Here you will learn what? Number 1, formal and informal organization. Formal and informal. What is a formal organization? A formal organization is the one in which there is a formal structure exists. Structure means who report to whom, who is the boss of whom. For example, on the top there is a managing director, then there are managers, then there are supervisors. This is a simple structure. But think of organizations such as McDonald's, think of Coca-Cola, think of Toyota. How big are these companies? So how bigger would be their structures? You will learn all these here. Next, organization culture and in business. Culture is very technical topic. Culture is about people perceptions, people beliefs, people thoughts. Okay, this is a simple part of the culture of the organization. So here you will be learning the 3 theories of understanding culture of the organization and how culture is important and it would impact an organization. Next, committees in business organization. Here you will be learning about the different types of committees. For example, audit committee, for example, risk committee, for example, remuneration committee, for example, different types of committees required in the organization. You will learn here. Next, governance and social responsibility. What is governance and what is social responsibility? Let me make it simple for you. Let's talk about governance first. Governance. What is governance? In very short, in very simple, I can define governance as the way an organization is led and run, or led and directed. So some people also use word corporate governance. Okay, corporate governance or simple governance. So how the organization is directed, how the organization is run, this is called governance. When we talk about governance, it is about internal controls of the organization. How strong are the internal controls within the organization? If there are strong controls, the governance is good because the organization is following all compliance. But if there are weak internal controls, then there are compliance failures. You will learn here. Then, my dear, it's about social responsibility. Social responsibility, you might have heard of the term corporate citizen. This term is used for companies or business organization that they are the corporate citizens. Okay, so just like an ordinary citizen is required to follow the laws and regulation of the local like area or the like region or where it is living, the same way businesses are also expected to be socially responsible, be socially responsible, take care, good care of their societies, their communities where they are operating. Okay, so this is called social responsibility. I hope you have understood this little concept. Section C, you will be learning here about accounting and reporting, compliance, control, technology. So what are the areas you would be covering? Number one, the relationship between accounting and other business functions. What are the other business functions? Accounting and other business functions, such as production, such as procurement, such as marketing. Okay, so how accounting is linked with other functions of the organization. Next, accounting and finance functions within business organization. My dear, a lot of people think accounting and finance as both are same. Both are not same. There is a very clear line drawn between both. And when it comes to accounting, accounting is more about recording the transactions. It's more about recording the transactions and putting into the orders or accounts, and it is about the balance sheet, and it is about the income statement. Okay, these are about the accounting. But when it comes to finance, finance is more broader thing. It is about treasury management. It's about managing investment of the organization. It is about managing cash flows of the organization. It is about managing borrowing and lending of the organization. Okay, so all this, it's about receivables and payables management. All this is part of finance. So I hope now you are clear about the difference between finance and accounting function. You will be learning here in deeper in this area. Next, principles of law and regulation governing accounting and auditing. Here you will be learning the different laws, how they control the profession of accounting. Next, sources and purpose of internal and external financial information provided by business. Sources. You will be learning here about what are the sources of internal information and what are the sources of external information. Simple, very simple, no complication. Next, financial systems, procedures, and related IT applications, internal controls, authorization, security of data, compliance within business. We already have discussed these things. Fraud and fraudulent behaviors. Okay, you will be learning here about what is a fraud. Okay, what when fraud occurs and how to protect frauds. All these kind of topics you will be learning here. Next, the impact of financial technology, for example, the fintech on accounting system. Here you will be learning about how the automation, okay, blockchain, you might have heard about these type of technologies, okay, cloud computing, how all these, the modern technologies would affect accounting profession. Very interesting. Very interesting. By the way, I have written articles on these topics as well, because this is the first class, so I am not discussing in detail, but when you will get enrolled, we will have the WhatsApp group. Okay, in that WhatsApp group, I will be sharing with you my writing on these topics. Section D, leading and management. Leading and leadership and management. So here, what topics will you be covering? What topics will you be covering? Leadership, management, and supervision. What are the differences between all these? Recruitment and selection of employees. Yes. What are the recruitment processes? What are the recruitment methods? Okay. By the way, both are different. Recruitment is something, selection is something. Okay. So what methods are the best Next, individual and group behavior in business organizations. My dear, here you will learn the behavioral point of view, how individuals and how the group of individuals, how they behave within the organization. Next, team formation, development, and management. Here you will learn how teams are formed, how teams are developed. Here you will learn another beautiful theory of team development. Next, motivating individuals and groups. Motivating individuals and groups. Motivating individuals and groups. Here you will learn the theories of motivation. Okay, theories of motivation. How we can motivate individuals. What are the different types of motivation? For example, intrinsic, extrinsic. Some people are self-motivated, but other people need to be motivated. You will learn all these here. Learning and training. You will learn here the theories of learning, theories of training. Okay, different styles of learning, different behaviors of learning. You know, every one person has a different aptitude towards learning. So if one learning style is good for me, it may not suit to other person. Even it may not suit to my own brother as well. Okay, so there are different personalities and different learning styles. And then review, appraisal of individual performance. What are the different methods of appraisals? What are the different methods to appraise performance of individual employees? Section E. Section E. Here you will be learning about personal effectiveness techniques. Personal effectiveness. By the way, I would strongly request you that don't learn these topics just to pass this paper, but to apply these topics to individual lives as well, because all these topics are related to real life. Okay, for example, personal effectiveness. Okay, how a person can improve, work on its skills, its social skills, its work skills. So you will be learning here. Consequences of ineffectiveness at work, business, and technology. Okay, consequences of ineffectiveness. Next, competence frameworks and personal developments. Sources of conflicts and techniques for strict resolution and referral, and communicating in business, different ways, different methods of communicating. All you will learn here. Last section, section F, fundamental principles of ethical behavior. Yes, you will learn here the fundamental principles from the ACCA about ethical behavior. You will learn here. Role of regulatory and professional bodies in promoting ethical and professional standards in the accountancy profession. You will learn here that. Corporate codes of ethics you will learn. And then last, ethical conflicts and dilemmas. Different. There are five different ethical conflicts and their resulting dilemmas. So you just need to have little bit knowledge of everything. And this is my responsibility. This will be my job to make it the most interesting and interactive subject for you. My responsibility. I will make it for you. Easiest and most interesting subject with full of knowledge. Okay, well done. Move on. Topics on which questions have had consistently high pass rates. I mean, these are the topics where students easily get marks. Easily get marks. By the way, do you know the pass percentage in BT? Hello? Do you know the past percentage or pass rates in BT? Are you aware of that? Pass rates. Yes, you pass at 50%. This is the pass rates, the highest in ACCA pass rates. I have one slide for this for you. You would be amazed. So keep it a surprise. Let's discuss the areas, the topics where students feel easy and get marks. For example, highest marks are normally types of business topics such as types of business organization, centralization and decentralization, stakeholders, role and responsibilities are in accounting and finance function, money laundering, recruitment and selection, leadership style, simpler theories such as Porter 5 forces or Maslow, Blake and Mouton, communication, conflict, training, time management. These are the areas where students get easy marks. Now let's look at areas where lowest pass rate is there, mean lowest marks in these areas. Microeconomics. Now microeconomics, if you have studied microeconomics at your earlier papers in O levels or A levels, what is difficulty in microeconomics? That is so easy topic, is it? Microeconomics is all about supply and demand. Hello, my dear. Hello, my dear. You agree? Microeconomics is about supply and demand, and there should not be any difficulty. But anyway, this is the difficult area. Information systems. Yes, I agree. This is the little bit tricky topic because you would need to know about the different types of information systems. Okay. Internal controls, again, this is a little bit tricky. Public oversight board, role of an external auditor, corporate governance, duty of disclosure of non-executive directors, newer organizational models such as virtual, hollow, and shared. Yeah, these are the new addition to the syllabus, new addition into business and technology, like virtual organization, hollow organization. I will make it simple for you. More complex theories such as Belbin and Shin, independence and threats to independence. So these are the topics where students find difficult. All right. So what would be the reason? What are the reasons? In my point of view, the biggest reason is that they don't pay attention much. They don't study these topics seriously. Okay. And they just try to make guesswork in their exam because they have not prepared well in these areas. But guys, you don't worry at all. This will be my job. This will be my responsibility to make it easiest for you. Okay, let's talk about exam structure. Exam structure, time to complete 2 hours, 2 sections of exam, 2 sections. Section A, there will be 76 marks, 76 marks of section A. This will be based on 46 objective test questions, 46 objective test questions, either of 1 mark or 2 mark, 46. Out of these 46, there will be 30 questions having 2 marks, and 16 questions having 1 mark. Then section B. Section B will have 6 multitasking questions. 6 multitasking questions. Okay, section B, each question with 4 marks. So total marks 24. 76 plus 24, 100. Total marks 100. There are 6 syllabus areas, and there will be 1 MTQ on each of them. So mean 1 MTQ from each syllabus area. Each MTQ will be specific to a syllabus area with no crossover between 6 generic parts. No crossover. Mean 1 MTQ from particularly 1 section of the syllabus. Okay, total marks are 100. 76 for section A, 24 for section B. Here are tips for answering section A. Tips for answering section A questions. Read question carefully, think before answering, don't rush, because you will have plenty of time. 120 minutes. 120 minutes. How many? 120 minutes, and you will not have to, there is no calculation involved. Okay, all theory. Think before answering, don't rush. If not sure, eliminate other answers to help find the correct answer. Yes, elimination. Elimination is a technique. Are you aware of this technique, which is used in the MCQs? Elimination. Hello, my dear. Do you know the elimination technique or eliminate technique? You might have heard about this at your earlier papers. Elimination.
Wrong answer.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So through that technique, you can find the right option. Answer all questions, even if unsure of the answer, because there is no negative marking. There is no negative marking. So you must answer all questions, even not sure. Now, these are section B. Section B. Tips for answering multitask questions in section B. Read and ensure you understand the scenario, because understanding of scenario will be very important. Why? Because all questions will be based on that long scenario. Scenario can be longer. Read and ensure you understand the scenario. Read the questions carefully. Think before answering. Don't rush. Answer all questions, even if unsure of the answer. Okay, computer-based exam. Computer-based exam. One of the slide in the computer-based exam will look like this. ACCA qualification. ACCA qualification. Exam name Business and Technology. 2 hours. Pass marks 50%. This exam contains 2 sections. Section A, 46 questions, each worth 1 or 2 marks. Total are 76 marks. Section B, 6 questions, each worth 4. Total are 24. All questions within each section are compulsory. Compulsory. There is no choice involved. All questions are compulsory. Okay, now let's talk about our practice. Practice. What practice? What level of practice we will have? What level of practice? There are 6 sections. In section A, we will practice 76 questions. In section B of the syllabus, we will have 50 questions. In section C, we will have 72 questions. Section 4D, we will have 120 because here there are many theories. In section D, there are a lot of theories such as about management and leadership. So there are 120, the highest number of questions. Section E and F, these are very small little section. That's why in section E, we will have 25 questions and section F, we will have 27 questions. 27 questions. So can you please sum up the number of questions? Hello? Can you please sum up all these number of questions? Sum up all these number of questions. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. 370 questions minimum. Okay. Plus there will be extra practice sessions. These are the questions will be in the one kit. There would be other supplementary kit for your more extra practice. So you will have more than 400 questions total, more than 400. Okay, and here is the time to look at pass rates and time to get happy. Feel happy. The highest pass rates. December 2020, it was 84%. Mean 84% students passed this paper. Only few could not. Okay. This means 84, 85, 86% in 2020 September pass. So you have highest probability to pass in this paper. So no need to worry at all. You will pass this paper. I can tell you will pass this paper. You will pass this paper. You will pass this paper. Steps to success. Steps to success. Study the whole syllabus. Practice exam standard questions to time, including specimen exam and practice tests. Ensure you are competent working in the computer-based exam environment. Attempt at least 2 full exam under exam condition. Okay. Key takeaways. High pass rates indicate you can pass easily too. Although BT tests many topics, but none of them requires comprehensive knowledge. I already told you, you don't need comprehensive knowledge. You need general understanding of as many topics as possible when preparing for examination, general understanding. It is advised to spend a little more time on theories and concepts considered to be more complicated. You are likely to be under time pressure when sitting this examination, but time management may be an issue for some. It must be noted that this examination never contains trick questions. So quite often thinking too hard or too long about answers initially considered to be incorrect or counterproductive, because questions here will be very simple, very straightforward. Okay, move on. Key resources available at ACCA website. You can have a look. Okay, examining team guidance, practice test, specimen exam, technical articles, guide to on-demand CBE, how to book an on-demand exam, on-demand center list. So all these will be available, and that's it from the first part of our today class. Our first part, introduction, is over now. Introduction part is over. Now we can take a 5-minute break, and after 5-minute break, we will start our topic, the first chapter we will be starting. Okay? All fine? My dear,
Yeah, great.
5-minute break or 10-minute break?
5 minutes.
5 minutes is okay. 5 minutes. So see you after 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. So we are starting now our first chapter, number 1, the business organization. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, we need to learn about what is a business organization. What is a business? The basic fundamental definition of a business organization. Keep in mind, there is no specific definition. There is no specific definition of an organization, but here in our BT course, we will be studying this. There is no specific definition, but in our this course, we will be studying this. Okay. Defining an organization is difficult as there are many types of organizations which are set up to meet a variety of needs, such as clubs, schools, companies, charities, hospitals. What they all have in common is summarized in the definition produced by Buchanan and Huzinski. So what is their definition? Their definition is organizations are social arrangements for the control performance of collective goals. What organizations are? Number 1, social arrangements for the control performance of collective goals. So there are 3 points have been discussed in this definition, which we need to understand. Number 1, social arrangement, control performance, and collective goals. Let's discuss each one by one. First of all, let's talk about social arrangement. What is social arrangement? Social arrangement means, because within an organization, many people come with different backgrounds. They work together. Okay, so with different age groups, with different qualifications, with different experiences, all they come together. So an organization is a kind of social arrangement where people with different social backgrounds, they come together. Number 2, social arrangement, control performance. What is control performance? What is control performance? Very simple point. We know that within an organization, there would be several rules, regulations, policies, systems, protocols, controls, which everyone within the organization need to follow. Everyone within the organization need to follow. This is called controlled performance. This is called controlled performance. Even one more aspect of controlled performance, you can say that there would be targets. There would be targets within the organization, and individuals would be required to achieve those targets. At the end, there would be variance analysis. What? Variance analysis, where you compare your target with actual performance. So all this is part of controlled performance. And the third segment is collective goals. Collective goals. Collective goal is about that everyone within the organization has common goal, which is to succeed, to survive, to flourish, to grow, and to provide the service for which it exists. I mean purpose, I mean mission. So everyone within the organization will have the goal to achieve the purpose, achieve the objective of the organization. This is called collective goals. So if we sum up the definition of an organization now, you will have the more bigger picture. Okay, so organization definition is organizations are social arrangements for the control performance of collective goals, So this is the definition of an organization. I hope you have understood it clearly. Okay, why do we need organizations? Why do we need organizations? Organization enable people to share skills and knowledge, enable people to specialize, and they pool resources. Let's discuss each point one by one. Why do we need organization? Number one, share skills and knowledge, because people with different backgrounds, with different skills, with different knowledge, different competencies, they come together and they work towards a common goal. In this way, they share their skills and knowledge with other their colleagues. So this is one of the reasons, because organization is a social arrangement. Keep in mind, organization is a social arrangement where several people come together. So when there are several people come together, they share their skills and knowledge. Next, people get specialized, because when a person within the organization keep doing same thing, repeating, the person will become a specialist, a specialized person. And number three, organization can attract resources. Attract resources. For example, financial resources. For example, capital resources. For example, manufacturing resources. For example, personal resources, like human resources. For example, IT resources. So different types of resources the organization can gather. So this is reason why we need organizations. Move on. Here we go, next topic of different types of organizations. Different types. So here we will split into different categories. Very simple topic, very simple. As we have discussed, different organizations have different goals. We can therefore classify them into several different categories. We can classify into several different categories. Number one, commercial versus not-for-profit. Commercial versus not-for-profit organization. What is a commercial? A commercial organization is the one which has the aim or objective to make profit. A commercial organization is the one with aim or objective to earn profit or seek profit. That is a commercial organization. Whereas a not-for-profit is the one whose primary objective is not to make money, but to provide service only. Provide service only. That is a not-for-profit organization. So, my dear, let's discuss different types of commercial organization. Different types of commercial organization. I hope you already have understood. A commercial organization is the one which has objective to make money, to make profit. There are three common forms of commercial organization, three common forms. Number one, sole trader. Sole trader is where a single run, managed on company. Single person is the owner, is the manager of the company. That is called a sole trader. Number two, partnership. Partnership is where two or more individuals, they come together and start a venture. Two or more individuals come together and start a venture. Now, the problem with partnership is that a partnership is not a separate legal entity. Not a separate legal entity. What is a separate legal entity? Separate legal entity, just like a private limited company, where the business is separate from its owners. Listen carefully. Some students get confused on this point. You should make it clear. I am explaining separate legal entity. Separate legal entity is the company is separate from its owner. So in case if the company collapses or if the company defaults, if the company gets bankrupt, owner's personal property will not be seized or will not be held under control. Why? Because both are separate. But this is not the case with the partnership. In partnership, the business is connected with the person or the personal belongings or personal property. So in case if the business goes out or business bankrupts, okay, the personal property of the owners will be sold to pay to the lenders, Please let me know if you have understood this very technical concept. Have you understood this very technical concept of separate legal entity or not? Or should I repeat it? Or should I revise it? Okay, I can quickly revise. Separate legal entity concept is in the private limited companies or limited companies, okay, but not with the case of partnership. In separate legal entity, if the business goes into administration or if the business is goes bankrupt, okay, the personal property of the owners will not be held or seized. But in partnership, if the business goes bankrupt, the personal property will be seized to pay to the lenders. This is the case with sole proprietor and partnership. Okay, but in UK, there is a recent development. There is a recent development, okay, where LLP, limited liability partnerships, have been introduced. So even in partnership, you can introduce the limited liability concept, which was the normal case for limited companies. Now it has been introduced in the partnership LLP. Okay, next is the limited liability company. So limited liability company, a company has a separate legal entity to its owners who are known as shareholders. Owners' liability is limited to the amount they have invested into the company. This is the point you need to understand. This is the point you need to understand, that with a limited liability company, the owner's liability is only limited to their investment in the company. That's it. Their personal belongings, personal property will not be held accountable. Okay, now under limited liability company, there are two types of companies. Number one is called private limited company. Other is called public limited company. Please understand both concepts. Private limited company is the company which has few shareholders. Private limited company has a few shareholders. It is a small business, few shareholders, and shares cannot be sold on to the general public on the stock exchange. I'm repeating, shares cannot be sold to the general public on the stock exchange. Because it is a private limited company. So shares need to be kept within few owners. But my dear, this is not the case with the public limited companies. A public limited company is the one. Also called PLC, where shares are sold or purchased on the stock exchange by the general public. General public, you need to keep the word general public. General public can buy or sell the stocks or the shares of public limited companies which are traded on the stock exchange of company. A Public limited company would have millions of shares and millions of shareholders. All right. So this is the difference between private limited company and public limited company. I hope you all have understood. Okay, here is the not-for-profit organization. Not-for-profit organization is the one which do not, which primary objective is not to make profit. But to provide service. Okay, but to provide service. This is the not-for-profit organization. So in Mauritius, for example, in Mauritius, we see the Victoria Hospital or Dr. Jitu Hospital or University of Mauritius or schools or colleges, for example, okay? The colleges or the schools, all these are not-for-profit organization. So here a few examples include government departments, schools, hospitals, charities, clubs. These are considered as not-for-profit organizations. Move on, please, move on. Here we discuss now public versus private sector organization. Keep in mind that don't confuse public sector organization and public limited company. These are two different things. When we talk about public sector, this is the government sector. Okay, let's discuss the difference between public sector versus private sector organizations. Public sector is the part of the economy that is concerned with providing basic government services and is controlled by government organizations. So this is the simple understanding that public organizations are controlled by government. Public sector organizations are controlled by government organizations. The organizations that make up the public sector vary from country to country, but generally include police. Police is a public sector organization. Military, public transport. Yes, in many countries, the public transport is only provided by the government. Okay, primary education, healthcare for the poor. These are the areas where government departments or government organizations work. They are called the public sector organization. What? Public sector organization. Government sector. Now, the private sector organizations. Private sector consists of organizations that are run by private individuals and groups rather than the government. So, my dear, private or sector organizations, all these are private sector organizations we have discussed. Sole trader, partnership, limited liability companies, including private limited and public limited companies. These are all private sector companies. Plus charities. You have seen there would be foundations. The big companies, they develop their foundations where they do work of the philanthropy or other type of like services they provide to the public, to the community. For example, they provide health facility. This a big company such as the IBL in Mauritius, for example, or the MCB Foundation, for example, they may work for the rights of for example, children, for example. They may work for the women. They may work for the poor. They may work for the people in a particular area. Okay, so all these are kind of charities, and then clubs as well. Clubs. So these are considered as private sector organizations. Private sector organizations. And non-governmental organizations, we already have discussed. These are the organizations whose primary objective is not to make profit. Primary objective is not to make profit. Okay, not to make profit, but to provide service. To provide service. I hope you have understood this point. Okay, then there are cooperatives. There are cooperatives. What are the cooperatives? You might have seen the cooperatives in Mauritius as well. For example, the largest cooperative is the agriculture, the small farmers associations, small farmers association. These are the kind of cooperatives. Cooperatives are organizations that are owned and democratically controlled by their members. Owned and democratically controlled by their members. The people who buy their goods or services, okay, members can buy goods or services. Each member usually gets a single vote on key decisions. Yes, for cooperatives, every member has to vote to choose the president of the cooperative or the board of the cooperative. Okay, so single vote the cost. Unlike companies where shareholders get one vote for each share, then they own. They are organized solely to meet the needs of the members, owners, who usually share any profits. Okay, so this is a simple example of cooperative. All right, okay, so any question from your side, my dear, please? Any question? Are you clear with the different types of organizations? Hello, different types of organizations, private sector versus not for profit, profit versus not for profit, public sector versus private sector. Okay, I hope all of you have got the concepts very clear. Thank you very much. Don't feel shy to ask questions. This is your class. I always feel happy when my students ask questions. Okay, so this is your class. You have the full right to ask questions. Next, our last discussion. Factors differentiate. Okay, thank you very much. I go back and explain LLP. LLP basically is for limited liability partnership. Okay, so I explain it once again. First, let me explain what is partnership. Partnership is where two or more individuals come together and set up a business. This is called partnership. Normally, partnerships are considered as kind of partnerships. In partnerships, normally the business does not have separate legal entity. Business does not have separate legal entity. Separate legal entity word we use means limited liability. Separate legal, when we use word separate legal entity mean limited liability. When limited liability mean that when the business defaults, what word I'm using? Default. If the business default, okay, if the business defaults, in simple partnership, partners' personal property or personal belongings, okay, will be sold or seized to pay. Partner personal wealth or personal capital will be used to pay to lenders. Okay, this is in absence of limited liability. I mean, absence of a separate legal entity. Now let's talk about LLP. In LLP, separate legal entity or limited liability section is added. Limited liability condition is included. So now if business defaults, partners will be only responsible up to their investments in the partnership, not their personal wealth. This is called LLP, mean limited liability feature is included with the partnership. Separate legal entity feature is added to the partnership. Is it clear now? Simple and LLP partnership. Is it clear, my dear, now? Thank you very much for asking question, Nikita. Thank you. Always welcome to ask questions. Okay, so you are clear with these. Last topic, factors differentiate different types of organizations. Factors, number one. There are different factors which differentiate the different types of organization. Number one is ownership. Number one factor is ownership. In a sole proprietor company, there's only one owner. In a partnership, there are two or more owners. In a private limited company, there are few owners. In a public limited company, there are large number of owners or so-called investors or shareholders. Okay, but on the other side, in government, or when we talk about the public sector organization, this is owned by government. So the point is very simple. We can divide into two types, whether it is a private sector or whether it is a public sector. If it is a private sector, then private people own the company, so that private sector. If the public sector, then government own the company. Next, objectives. Objectives of the companies or objectives of the organization vary from organization to organization. For example, a profit-making organization, also called commercial organization. A commercial organization objective would be to make profit for its investors, owners. Whereas a not-for-profit organization, NGO, not-for-profit organization, objective would be to provide service and not to earn profit. So organizations would vary on the basis of objectives. Next, number three, activities. Yes, organizations are also distinguished on the basis of activities in which they engage. What type of activities? A school is engaged in the education activity. Hospital is engaged in the treatment of patients and health activity. Okay, whereas, for example, on the other side, if we look at a profit-making company, for example, selling furniture, for example, it is engaged in making furniture and selling that furniture. A juice-making company is engaged in making juice. So their activities are varying. Okay, activities are varying. So we can identify an organization on the basis of the activities as well. Next, sources of funding. Sources of funding. Again, very simple to understand. For a public sector organization such as government organization, their funding is coming from the government. Their funding is coming from the government. For example, police, for example, the public hospital, public school, public university, public college, their funding is coming from the government. Government is paying to pay to the salaries and etc. But for a profit-making company, okay, its funding is coming from the investors. Investors are investing in that company, and it is also have retained profits. It is making money from its own operations as well. So this is another factor. Next, size of the organization. Okay, size, small size, medium size, large size. Think of a small hospital, a small school, but on the other side, there would be big company such as Nestle, such as Unilever, such as Coca-Cola, such as Pepsi, McDonald's. Think of these companies. Their size is biggest. Liability, again, the limited liability or unlimited liability. We have seen already with a simple partnership, the liability is unlimited. But with when we use word limited liability, okay, then there is a separate legal entity, and the liability is only up to the investment we make in that company. So these are the different factors on which we can differentiate the organization, whether these are public sector or whether these are private sector organization. So my dear all, let's sum up. Today we have covered this chapter number 1, in which we have learned about the organization, the different types of organization, and what factors differentiate these organizations. All right, so this is all from our today's session. In the next session, in the next class, we will be starting with practice questions. Okay, because at the end of every chapter, or we can start next chapter, and then we can have practice after the end of 2 chapters. It will be all up to you what you will feel good. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot for joining my session. Thank you very much for choosing my course. I hope you have got a good understanding of my lecture style, my approach towards this paper, my passion for this paper, and how I want to deliver more than what you are expecting. I want to broaden your knowledge, and this paper is very, very, very easy to pass. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you in the next class. Okay. If when you will enroll, we will have a WhatsApp group in which we will be able to discuss, communicate, chat, share all these interesting things. Okay, so the time is, I think, up for the course. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Time is ending at, what is the closing time of the class?
14 hours.
15. At 15.
No, 40.
Okay, 14. All right. It means 30 minutes. Okay. So we are closing early bit, but this will not be the case in the next coming classes. I thought the time is up already. Okay. So thank you very much. Looking forward to see you in next classes. And this was just introductory class to know each other. You have got opportunity to know me, and I got opportunity to know you. And I'm happy that all of you are you have the participative style. And this is what I want from my students, to participate, to be communicative, to ask question, okay, where they feel problem, promptly ask question or ask me later to explain it. And this really makes me happy. All right, guys, so this journey of success will continue. You have got the glimpse of the paper. about me, about my approach, about my style, and about the course as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for choosing the course. Looking forward to see you in the next class, where we will be having more interesting and exciting sessions. All the best. Have a beautiful weekend and take care of you, your families, and the beautiful Mauritius. All the best. See you. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Ilahi.
Thanks a lot.
Once we enroll,
Yeah.
will we get access to your notes as well as recording?
Yes, of course. This slides you will have, I will try to send you by today itself. Okay, slides.
By
But
email or?
the notes you will have once you get enrolled. Okay, you will have the volume 1 of the study manual. You will have.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. Once you enroll, you will have. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot for asking a question and participating and making this class very interesting. All the best. See you in the next class. Bye.
See you next. Bye.
Bye.